Alrighty folks, welcome to Nepal. Here in Tier 3 of the Annihilation Esports Leagues, we have two teams facing off against each other here. Andromeda on the right, going to be consisting of Gatsby, Blue Jay, Blissey, Cry, and Ace. And then on the opposite side, their opponent today is going to be Cuddle. Representing Cuddle here is going to be Demo, Haku, Space, Quesadilla, and Goose. Here on Nepal, both teams looking to make some headway into the playoffs coming in. Drama, of course, being number 2 in the rankings, being a 4-1 with a map differential of 8. Cuddle sitting at 3-2, looking to get into that third place spot. Needs to pick up this series in a 3-0 fashion, but need only to win 2 maps. Or not to lose 2 maps here. Looking for that 3-1 as we have both teams getting into the action. An early Space pick here onto Cry. Cuddles going up big here. Killing the Kiriko. You see Space looking to get Ace here. Ace does get out, however. Gatsby is also out of their mech here. So it looks like Cuddles is going to take control of this first point. Looking to see if they can get any more picks, but they do not. Forgot to mention the bans. Of course, you can see it on your screen in the top left and top right. We do have a May Ramatra ban. Cuddles banning out that May and Ramatra, of course, for Andromeda. So, with that being said, both these teams are going to be playing a very standard Malga comp. Haven't seen too much differential here. A TP coming out. Some TM strategies here. Lucio, however, did not get it, and Quesadilla is going to be the first to diff. Maybe some say with a Lucio diff here. Haku, however, finds Blue Jay. Point flipped over to Andromeda's side. Right now, point progressing here. Busy takes out Haku, Goose as well, following suit, along with Demo. So not only a point capture for Andromeda, but a point win. Cuddles, of course, still holding on to the lead with 20%, but quickly catching up at 15 for Andromeda. Ult's coming out here. Gonna be looking at Cry to build up this Kitsune rush quite quickly. Right, they're sitting at 72% here. Looks like Cuddles wants to take this fight into the white room. You see a rotation actually coming out here. Looks like they're going through main with that TP. That covers a lot of ground. They're able to do that. Now bunkering down. Sim TP's onto point. And a point flip. No engage from Andromeda just yet. Looking for some good picks, and that's a great pick. Blue Jay getting Goose here. Puts Andromeda. Blue Jay picking another headshot. Looking like Quartz out here. Picks up Space. Cuddles on the flat foot. Quesadilla is gonna go down next, followed by Haku. And it's just Malga on point. They did get the point flip, but Demo is only gonna have so long to last. Cuddles, though, picking up great percentages and the lead. Not going to be held on for too long as Andromeda does get the lead back right now. Both teams at 43%. Ultimates right now heavily favoring Andromeda. You got Blue Jay with the high noon. Busy with the Tracer Pulse Bomb. We're actually going to go over their POV. Could have a great impact on this. And we do have Kitsune rushes for both teams. Here comes the stomp out. Blue Jay has it. Busy takes out Space. Haku, however, takes out Blue Jay. No team with a hit scan here. Demo gonna go down. That's gonna be a tank missing for Cuddles here. As Andromeda making quick work of this point, cleaning up. Goose does find one onto the Tracer, who did use the Pulse Bomb, did not get any value out of this. But again, Andromeda still holding the bag here with ultimates. Goose still not able to build up to that percentage for that Kitsune rush. Space and Haku, it's going to be the 2 DPS on the side of Cuddles, who have to come up big here. Cage, High Noon, Kitsune. Cage coming out for Andromeda, and it's looking their way. Haku getting one. However, traded out. Space has to go mental here. Does find 2, but it's not enough here as Cuddles drop the first map. And Andromeda will take us to map point here on Nepal. Quite convincing look from Andromeda. Not a lot of ults built up on the side of Cuddles. However, some good plays at the beginning here. Still looking for an ult from Demo. The supports obviously not finding too much room to wiggle here on the side of Cuddles. Go up to that leaderboard. Busy 11-1. Gatsby following suit at 12-8. We see a switch up of compositions here. Something we've seen a bit in the OWCS. You got the Sigma. You got the Sigma. You got the... I'm trying to figure out what the new character's name is. Xion. Space and Space on Sojourn, and the Mizuki actually appearing here on the side of Andromeda. No composition switch. If it worked the first time, why change it? You see Andromeda holding strong over here on the right side, but we also see as both teams fighting for this space. Space is going to take some point presence here, trying to get this point. Is going to get pressured out, and Busy going to take it off angle and find some pressure on the Space. Gatsby cleaning up that kill. So that's going to put Andromeda in the driver's seat here. Gatsby going deep, trying to find another kill here. A beautiful Suzu keeps them alive. However, not for too long. Gatsby does go down. Cuddles does have every right to go forward here. We're looking at Haku here at 50% on the Xion. One day I'll get that right. However, Busy gonna deny this point progress for as long as possible. Recall already forced and dead. Busy gonna go back to spawn for Andromeda's side as they were about to step up to engage this point. Andromeda, of course, sitting at 18%. Space making a quick switch off of the Sojourn onto that Cassidy. A bit more front-loaded damage there. Pick potential was still there, but with Busy on this Tracer, taking some interesting angles here, and has honestly done it. He stopped going on to Demo. Suzu forces it out, but the hands-on were good. Here comes the Flux. Good for one. Good for Kiriko. Has no follow-up. A beautiful Suzu keeps themselves alive. Blue Jay does find Quesadilla here. And point has flipped back into Andromeda's favor. Haku finds one, and a Kasuya Rush is popped. They do not think they have this yet. Busy, however, has space. Gatsby on Haku. And it looks like this fight is all done and dusted. Just looking for some cleanups. Demo needs to get out. Mizuki is here to try to sustain him, but still in a dangerous area here. We're going to go on to Haku's Demo. Actually, we're going to go with Busy, because I said we were going to do it the first time, and didn't do it like 5 times. Definitely hit all the buttons. There we go. Pulse Bomb in hand, looking for some targets. Goose on this Kiriko has to go crazy. Pulses a wall instead, so we're going to go back over to Haku as they do have that Rampage. Cage out, High Noon out. Space does find the Tracer on the side of Andromeda here, but a 3-man for Blue Jay. Gatsby cleaning up the rest. Andromeda comes big, but also spends quite big. They are sitting pretty at 70% here on Shrine in Nepal, trying to end this map out. Cuddles, however, they have the Salt Bank. They can make their way into it. We're gonna stay on Haku because we don't get too many rages here. And Shinra, here it comes. Rampage is out. Bursting onto the Cassidy, does get one. Needs some support, needs some help in a dangerous situation. How a Demo gets Gatsby 93% on the board, and it looks like Cuddles, though, gonna start cleaning up the rest of Andromeda as they fall one by one. Space getting the last kill here as Cry goes for a quick reset. It's 99% for Andromeda. Cuddles having to spend only one ultimate there, which was a great fight for them. They still have room to control this. Cry and Ace on the side of Andromeda do have their respective ults coming up. Cry at 80% needs to build that up. Ace, of course, has the beat coming quite quickly up. Busy putting a lot of pressure on the Quesadilla. Eventually, ooh, Space with 2 here. I was about to say, eventually the Sanctuary does come out. Demo finding Gatsby, so did have to spend their 2 ultimates here. Puts them at kind of an ult deficit, but am I mistaken? I think the Lucio Ajax there. I might be very well mistaken here, but ult's coming up for Andromeda. You can build this cage. You can probably build this High Noon. Of course, Busy on with the Tracer here, taking a nice little off angle. We're going to go over to their respective POV. Ooh, Gatsby eating a rock here. We're gonna actually go over to Cry with that Kitsune Rush. They're stepping up forward. Here comes the Kitsune Rush. Malga in. Beautiful Suzu does not capture Blue Jay. Gatsby does find the opposite on Quesadilla. A boot coming out for Ace does get demoed down. Andromeda looks like they're about to secure this map. It's just Haku and Goose, and that is what happens. Andromeda are gonna take Nepal. Cuddles look like they had an in on that map. But unfortunately, after expending those ultimates on the second point, you really had to survive that one, and they didn't. You know, Andromeda played that absolutely well. They knew they had time on their hands. They knew they could make a few mistakes in that last fight to really sum up that map, and that's exactly what they did. However, on the side of Cuddles, don't despair. They were looking some pretty strong. We're going to head over to the intermission as both teams get bans and the next map chosen. Stick around. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between. We're heading to Nimbani here. We got the bands, we got some updated rosters here on the side of Cuddle. You're not going to see the Lucio from Nepal. You're going to see Queso out, Frost in. On the side of Andromeda, keeping the same roster, going to run that down again. Bands are, of course, as you can see, very interesting, I think. Especially on Nimbani, you have the May Reinhardt ban. Now, I'm not going to say that I think these bans are kind of goofy. It obviously is pointing to one player really liking Ryan. I don't know whose player that is, but I'm going to say it's someone on Cuddle, probably. That being said, though, both teams needing to... I'm getting some picks off here. Side of Cuddles, you're going to see a similar composition you saw last round. Of course, that being Sigma, Sojourn, Kiriko, and Mizuki with a Reaper. On the side of Andromeda, you're seeing basically the same thing, but with a hero that, works on Nimbani, a Diva. Of course, did get some nerfs as of recently, and they're looking to take high ground here in Andromeda. That defense matrix lasts a little less, but Point actually is getting pressured out by Busy. That's actually really smart here. Puts the attention away from the characters wanting to really take this. But we see another split of the Lucio and the Sojourn here, coming for that pinch, looking for that damage, and they find Frost. That was a beautiful play, a beautiful pincer by Andromeda here. Cuddles looking to stabilize, but without your tank, looking quite dire. Aku trying to get out on this Reaper. The Diva of Gatsby pressing hard. Suzu trying to keep him alive. Aku does. However, lost a lot of point progress, and you see Andromeda still hungry for these kills. Gonna take some forward progression here, looking for anything on the side of Cuddles to stem the bleeding. Now there's 5 minutes as the point cap goes in. Gatsby might have overstepped here. Both DPS looking at him, looking to burn them out of mech. Don't have their ultimate yet, but 82% is respectable, especially after 1 or 2 fights here. Corner is where Cuddles is going to play this, and with their composition being as front heavy as it is, I'd say that's a great idea here. Picks need to come out for their DPS here. Demo already getting forced back. Busy, getting busy in the back line here, putting the pressure, forcing the heals. Here comes the Kitsune Rush on the side of Cry. Ring over to Blue Jays POV. 100 rail charge ready. Playing into this Kitsune Rush. A lot of space now given and respect for Cuddles here. Here comes a Flux. Gets one. Gets the Lucio. Trying to find the kill onto it. Does not. Gatsby on the other end. Burns down space. Fight still continuing. Gatsby here. Blue Jay finding the head of Frosty, taking it out. You can call Blue Jay ice cold the way they just downed that. Goose, however, does finally get the Nat of Busy out. Card progress not really making anything. Goose eventually goes down. Demo, very dangerous situation here, but also Aku going deep and also half health. Eventually does get topped up by Frost here. A lot of ultimates to play with here on the side of Cuddles and on the side of Andromeda here. Of course, you got Diva, Bomb, Blue Jay with the OC. I'm going to guarantee we're going to see a rip of the OC, but not before Busy tries to get one. No one's looking at Gatsby. He just walks right behind everyone. The Kitsune Rush is out for Grouse. Pulse Bomb getting nothing. Gatsby has to throw their bomb out, does not get anything, and dies with it. So, for the first time in this map, Cuddles are taking command of this space. And only using the Kitsune Rush, their big ultimate saved by them. Gonna go over to the Reaper on the side of Cuddles. They're holding the Death Blossom here. Frost, of course, holding Sanctuary. Blue Jay with the OC. Cuddles need to be able to shut down this OC. This beat held by Ace on the side of Andromeda, probably held for this Reaper, knows it. Blue Jay gets the better of space. Here comes the engage. The Blossom, good. It is blooming on the battlefield for 2 here. Falls back into the Sanctuary, has done their job. Shut down Blue Jay. Gotta wonder where that beat was that could have saved them, but Cuddles stabilizing here, looking to burn down Gatsby. Does not have the bomb, is going to get staggered out. This is going to be incredibly painful for Andromeda here. I'm going to go over to the Space POV as they're the only one holding an ultimate here on the side of Cuddles. Ace, of course, holding that beat. Didn't get it off last round on Nepal. Looking to rectify that mistakes. 2 minutes, 19 seconds here on Nabani's second point. Andromeda looking to push in to this area here. Cuddles looking to set a solid defense line here. Busy. You can hear them already making it. Here comes the OC pop. Space looking for targets. Beat good for only 2 here. Everyone playing on that underground cannot get that. And OC comes and goes, only getting the beat. Here comes the Flux, looking to get it. It's looking like it's going to go on to Gatsby. Going to try to burn them D.Va out of mech, but a beautiful Suzu comes out for Cry. Gatsby immediately flies into Frost here. Shuts them down. Demo going to get burnt down without that help here, and the rest of Cuddles looking quite weak as cleanup kills come in. It's going to be Andromeda pushing it in. Heading to third. Notoriously hard to attack defenses have come up clutch here in past memories for teams. Cuddles looking like it. My alarm is going off. I'm going to shut that down immediately. Much like Cuddles are looking to shut down this attack by Andromeda here. Both teams prolonged poke phase. Cuddles trying to get set up here. This point gonna be a bit harder for a D.Va to attack into, especially with Sigma Zuki here. You see Gatsby, eyes locked like a missile, immediately dives to Frosty, no help on that side. They do get D-Mech, but not before Blue Jay kills one, and they get a remech here. Busy, still going to work. Blue Jay also following their partner's advice, gets another pick on the Goose. Cuddle's going to be down to support for this last fight. Space onto this Tracer. Will he get spaced? Doesn't, but Ace also helps their sojourn on Blue Jay come up alive. A desperate struggle here for Cuddles here. Busy getting Frost. They were without their supports. The Kitsune Rush is out for Cuddles. However, everyone's dangerously low. Busy taking not 1, but 2. Gatsby following the Haku. It is just Demo on point left, and that's all she wrote for Cuddles' defense here. Andromeda making short work. Space eventually does get the stick though onto Blue Jay. Doesn't matter though. Round's over. With a minute and hold on, pause. Minute 24 into that attack. Cuddles did eventually find their footing, but you can see there's some obvious problems. Especially getting that D.Va off Frost. Every time you see the kill there, it's just D.Va being a missile, burning down the Mizuki. And quite frankly, that Mizuki, you know, you run D.Va Sigma, not D.Va Sigma, Sigma and Mizuki should be able to deal with that D.Va a bit better. However, not being able to find that footing quite well. We do have a composition swap coming over here for Cuddles. Demo going on to the D.Va, Haku going on to the Genji, Space on to the Ashe. And of course you do have that Overwatch 2 support line never changing, being that Lucio Kiriko. Oh, hold on, being proven wrong. Frost going over to that Brig. We might see a Brig Ana, but Brig Kiriko also works a bit better. Also works as well. Kiriko just a busted hero in that journey. But let's see what Cuddles can do on their attack here. You need to win this map. Keep it close in the series. Andromeda looking to get this into an 0-2 situation. Pressure going on to Gatsby, however, not quite. Cuddles here able to force the problem. You see the missile of it. Frost, however, goes down. The missile of a D.Va followed by Busy just immediately burns down Frost, and without your Lucio, you don't want to push too far forward. You don't have that rotation speed that you need. Quite. We're going to go over to Busy's POV as they have been a star right now for Andromeda. You see Cuddles taking a different, don't want to press through that main door, and the missile of Gatsby immediately sees a low space, goes for it. Demo needs some support here, along with the rest of Cuddles here. Need to stabilize. Busy putting some shots in, putting some busy work in here. 72, 2 pulse bomb on that, and no ult coming up here for the side of Cuddles. You see Demo going deep, trying to find the kills. A lot of health was lost, a lot of space to cover there. Haku also 1 HP and a dream. Demo's eventually demeched Haku out. Frosty going back to spawn. Demo trying to build up that mech. It's just space being alive. Oh, this is. Oh, Demo gets a mech kill here. That is immediately demeched. Blue Jay getting that bite there. They're gonna stagger Demo. This is actually really tragic if you're the side of Cuddles. Gonna catch that last respawn wave. But if you're a Cuddles fan, you also gotta be worried. Coming up on ultimates, everyone on Andromeda is Gatsby with the bomb, Busy, Pulse, Cry with that Kitsune Rush. Blue Jay could build up to this OC mid-fight, but doesn't quite have it. We're gonna go over to Space's POV as he does have the high noon. You see, they want to get the attention away, but this diva of Gatsby not gonna give it up. Fan the hammer, we're fanning our own ghost, but talking about fanning our own ghost, Frost and Haku becoming ghosts themselves, gonna head back to spawn. Demo needs some help. Haku Goose eventually does TP in, tries to stabilize their diva before D-Mech comes in. We're a minute 30 in. Cuddles still has not got any point progress here. Did use one ultimate space. Gonna go on to the Sojourn. Also, ultimates on the side of Andromeda really hasn't changed. The only one busy throwing a pulse bomb, not finding the stick to connect. Has spotted out the rest of Cuddles going in. Kitsune Rush is on to the main point. They're going to try to take high ground. Cuddles are trying to find it, but Frost once again lasered down. Goose does find the Tracer of Busy here. Space going down. Also, this is a scrappy fight. Both teams trading out. It's a 2v3 in the favor of Andromeda with Goose going down. Demo is going to probably get staggered out. Bomb out. Does not get it. Frost is back from spawn. 96 to ult. If they want in on this, they could have to wait. They have to be conservative here. They have to build that beat. They do get it. It comes out. Demo good. Beat in response. It's a two-man beat for each other. Blue Jay gonna pop that OC. Look at it. Here comes the blade from the high ground. Haku gets one. Demo gets put back into spawn. Gatsby gonna have it. Haku gets busy here. Putting in some work for their team. Gatsby gets burnt out. Space finally finds a kill onto the Lucio here. It is dicey for Cuddles. They're looking for a way in. The pin missile of Gatsby finds a Frost. Demo's going to be the touch here. Gatsby finishing off everyone in that room. Goose Space going to go back to spawn. It is just Demo left. Fighting for their lives. Fighting for their team survival here in Nambani. But falling every also low. Frost back to spawn. Haku following suit, and it's Demo who's going to be taking out next. Nambani belongs to Andromeda as they go up 2-0 in this series. Cuddles not looking so great, going down 2-0 in the series here. Let's see this play of the game. Gonna be Gatsby piloting this diva quite masterfully, seeing that low target and just burning them down. Cuddles really need to find their footing here. They don't want to go down 3-0. But we will be going to a quick intermission here. Stay tuned. Alrighty, folks, we are back once again. Annihilation League here. We're on match point between Cuddles and Andromeda. Andromeda, of course, taking that 2-0 lead in this series. Cuddle looking to go to Esperanza to make their dreams of a reverse sweep a reality here. Of course, we do have the bans, and we do have some subs. Only one on the side of Cuddles. Going to be Frost out for Quesadilla here. On the sides of the bans, however, we do have Cuddles banning out the Sojourn, and Andromeda going to be banning out this Amalga composition here. Looks like Cuddles right now queuing up for some Cat Bastion. Scratch that. We decided to go Mercy. On the opposite side of Andromeda, though, a very interesting comp. Haven't seen too much of this lately, but this is going to be a Queen Rush composition here. Looking to go first, but do have to acknowledge this Cat Bastion on the field. We're going to go over to the Bastion here. Also running a double hit scan composition, Cuddles is. Shout already coming out for Gatsby, and here comes Haku looking to burn down the target. However, Blue Jay shoots Cat out of the sky, and already D-Mech Demo is going down. Blue Jay putting some big numbers on this board, looking for a third kill, does find it here on the side of Andromeda. They're going to get the bot moving here. Space trying to find any kills, but not going to, unfortunately. However, Gatsby looking to punish these two in this. Gets a knife into space, gets some bleed damage going on. Rest of Cuddle's going to make a rotation. Do not want to fight this choke with a queen on it. We're going to go over to Blue Jay as a big pick onto the Cat really opened up this map for the rest of their team. Demo going in here. They're going to try to pressure out Blue Jay. Been a big threat this entire series. Does not get it, however, eventually does go down. A lot of resources thrown in, but talking of which, did not have the resources to put someone on the bot. Cuddles already losing that checkpoint here. And Andromeda looking to close out this series. Space with this High Noon. We're going to go over to their POV. Here comes the Higher Noon. Trying to find anything. Does not get over that hump. Finds two. Finds the support line of Andromeda here. This is going to be the opening play that Cuddles is looking for. Will the Cat beat the Cassidy? Does not want to challenge that. Demo does find Gatsby as the kills are coming back up. However, with this checkpoint, Andromeda can quickly come back and quickly fight for this high ground, as the rest of Cuddles has still just gotten the bot off of its podium here. If Space not careful, could be just rushed upon. This is what their queen wants to do. We're gonna go back over to Blue Jay, as the only one with ults on the side of Andromeda does have this High Noon. What are they looking for? Looking to just use it for a reload. They're looking for some kills. They're looking for a reload. Here comes the High Noon. Cat pulls it away. The Lucio speed boost, good. Trying to find two. Finds it. Finds the Cat Bastion comp sitting on the ground. Rampage out for Gatsby. Finds the Kiriko here. And Demo gonna go down, gonna get staggered out. Eventually is put out of their misery here. Looks like the Cat Bastion's not quite working out, so we do see some swaps coming in for Cuddle. We have Echo coming in for Haku, and Quesadilla going on to that Lucio. Kitsune Rush Bomb is the ultimate. It's gonna be held by Cuddles here. On the side, Busy has that Pulse Bomb. And Cry with the High Noon stuck onto Quesadilla. We got a first person POV of someone getting murdered there. Demo 1 HP, throws a bomb. This could be big. Does not get it. However, Blue Jay gets Demo before they could re-mech. So this bleed by Cuddles still out of control. Not almost 100 meters has been achieved by Andromeda to 19 kills. Still going in the favor of Andromeda here. Cry with that high Kitsune Rush, and Ace with the beat is going to be the ults coming up for Andromeda. Space and Goose, only ones with ults really coming up for the side of Cuddles. We're going to go over to Goose's POV, see how they play this out as the final stretch of this bot comes out. Well, Kitsune rushes out. D.Va trying to burn out the Queen on deck. A lot of pressure is coming down to Quesadilla. Space found out first, however, eventually found out Quesadilla too. Haku eventually finds Blue Jay. It's been a menace here. Gatsby getting a swing onto the Echo. It is just Demo left here in baby form. 135 meters. Quesadilla, last desperate charge of the Light Brigade comes out. A beat of celebration for Andromeda as they push this point in and end this series in a clean 3-0 fashion. It's going to be a GG for everyone involved.
GGS.
Of course, we're going to go back to the leaderboard really quickly here. Just to give you, not an updated standings, but how this affects the standings. Of course, 3-0, not exactly what you're going to be looking for. Going to drop down to 3-3 here for Cuddles. You're going to drop your map differential to 1, just 1. Of course, Eclipse also sitting at a 3v3. 3. If you enjoyed any of this, thank you for watching, but also do remember to support the main channel here. It's only allowed to do this due to the wonderful host and character of them and all their crew here. Of course, that's going to be twitch.tv/Annihilation Nation. We have another match coming up for you tonight. It's going to be Void versus Kratos here. That's going to be the number 6 and number 1 team is going to be duking it out. Of course, that's going to be all for me. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful night.